Do you have a pulled back muscle? When we have a pulled back muscle, our brain tells us to stretch it. We want to lengthen it out, but that's counterproductive. It doesn't help us. What we need to be doing is loosening up the tissue above and below, because think about your body. It's like the same, your muscle is very similar to this shirt. If it's constantly being pulled on it and I have a tear right here and I pull on that tear and stretch it, then I'm going to make it more irritated. My body's trying to stitch it up and heal. And so what I want to do is give it a little bit of slack so it can heal faster. That's what we're going to do in this video. Is we're going to give you 3 steps on how to loosen things up so you can allow that pulled muscle to heal faster. Step number 1, we need to make sure we loosen up the glutes. Muscles overlap here on the side of our glute, and so that's going to be pulling on that pulled back muscle. It's going to be pulling down right here, and then we're going to have to work on our erectors that are going to be pulling up. So we don't want that pull happening. So we got to loosen up the glute first. So we're going to get on the ground. And so now I'm going to lay down on to the side and then on my back. And you're going to be compelled to lift your hips up and slide this ball underneath your butt. Let's not do that. What I want to do is get it right here at my belt loop. So I got a bone right here, my hip bone, and I got my pelvis bone right here. I'm going to cut them right in half where all the glute muscle is. And then I'm going to take my left arm and I'm going to roll onto my right glute, and I'm going to stay stacked. So I don't have to do anything right here. I just lay on it and breathe and relax. So I'm going to spend 30 seconds in one spot and then 30 seconds in another spot for a total of a minute. So I'm finding my second spot right there. We just need to find a tender spot off to the side of the glute. And now you can move around a little bit, but if we're moving around, we're moving less than an inch, that little wiggle, because I don't want you moving through your lower back. That's not helpful. So I just breathe and relax. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side where I'm getting here, and you'll see it. I'm going to roll all the way over. You can see that glute. So now I'm rolling back right here, put my hand underneath my head, and I just breathe and relax. You don't have to get that high though. If it's really tender, just get it off to the side, roll into it. If you feel it right here, then that's plenty. We just want to be gentle, make sure that we're doing this consistently, because we're going to be taking that slack, we're going to be putting slack in, we're going to be taking that tension out of those muscles so that we're not constantly pulling on that back muscle that's already aggravated. Now, step number 2, we're gonna grab a double lacrosse balls or a towel roll, but the double lacrosse balls, a little bit aggressive, but it will loosen things up. We need to get into the erectors, the muscles above. So what I'm gonna do, my spine goes right in the middle here. My spine goes right in the middle of that. And then this is gonna go into those muscles on the side. So I'm gonna lay down right here. I wanna be underneath my shoulder blades. And then I'm gonna put my arms up over my head. And I just breathe and relax right here. I'll take 5 breaths in this spot. So around my shoulder blades, I don't want it to be on my lower back. That's really important. We're not trying to dig into the area where you're having pain and where you have a pulled muscle. I'm gonna move down about an inch, my body, taking 5 breaths, down about an inch, taking 5 breaths. I'm speeding through it a little bit, but taking 5 breaths. Really what it should be focusing on is sinking down into the ball. I'm doing that 5 times. I'm gonna do it in 3 to 4 different spots in between my shoulder blades. And then at the end, I'm gonna lift, I'm gonna bring my elbows in, and then I'm gonna grab my shirt so it doesn't get caught. And then I'm gonna glide across these muscles for about 10 swipes, just loosening them up. But I'm doing it all near my rib cage right here. Loosening all that up. And you're gonna feel the tight spots. We're just gonna loosen up all around the rib cage. We're gonna loosen up in the glute. And then our third step is that we're gonna go into a hip hinge. So when we do a hip hinge, we wanna keep the back in a neutral position, and we're loading up the hamstrings and the glutes. And our erectors are still working. So our erectors are stabilizers for us. And then that muscle that's pulled is gonna be a stabilizer, but we're not gonna be pulling, we're not gonna be twisting it up. It's gonna get the blood flow to it, but it's gonna be moderate. We want mild to moderate activation of that tissue. We don't want any extreme activation of that tissue. And that's how we're gonna accelerate this healing process. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna stand up and get against this wall. So I'll come right here. Then you can see I'm gonna measure my foot away from the wall. And then I'm gonna keep my face in line with my chest. And I'm pushing my butt back against the wall right here. My weight's on my heels. And I'm pushing my hips forward. So my hips go back and my hips go forward. So I'm almost parallel with the ground right here as I come back. My lower leg stays vertical like it's a stake driven into the ground. My knees are bent, but they're only bending as much as they need to as my hips come back and my chest comes down. So the knees are an accessory bender. They're not primary bending. So I'm gonna push my butt back. My hips are doing all the work right through here, hamstrings and glutes. And you can see that my back's not changing angles. I'm not doing this. This would be bad. I'm not doing this and folding. Both of those things are gonna be aggravating to the back. I wanna make sure that I can even scoot a little bit closer. And this is what I'd prefer that you do at home, is make sure you have the form down. So I look at my hand. I don't lock my eyes on the wall. If I lock my eyes on the wall, I go into extension in my back and I'm using those muscles too much. So I'm pushing here, going backward, forward. So we really want, it's not loaded, so we really want to get a lot of activation of these muscles. I found that it really helps with clients if they push against their thighs right here. So they're pushing against their thigh with their abdomen. So they're pushing here, and then you feel like you got somebody pushing right here from your butt bone to push you up. So say you got a grandkid you push their head down into the wall, squash them, and then they go, get off me, grandpa, right? So I'm pushing here and pushing back up from the butt. It's all a hip hinge. The hips are the only thing that's moving. So my hips are leading it, and then I allow my knees to bend, but I feel my hamstrings and my glutes all fired up right here. We do that 2 sets of 15. So we went through our cadence. So the first thing is rolling out the glutes, 1 minute on each side. Then we're gonna get into the thoracic spine, loosening up those erectors above where the pulled back muscle is. And then the third is doing that hip hinge where we're firing up those glute muscles. Make sure that you comment, leave any questions that you have, follow the channel so you can get more information on exactly how to get out of these pesky injuries and make sure that you're performing to your highest level function. We'll see you in the next video.